The most challenging case I've worked on, well, it started off as a regular case. There was a small car accident, or apparently a small car accident. Police was in place, so we just had to contact the service provider, try and take charge of the costs of the intervention, and it pretty much appeared as if that was it, actually. And a couple of days later on, we received another email around 4:30 in the afternoon, which is quite important at the time. And they contact us, and these clients that had had the accident actually spent the last 2 days in the hospital because they've broken legs, ribs, several things. They were okay, and they really wanted to go home. And so I stepped in, trying to organize as quickly as possible a flight back to Spain for them. Problem was that they couldn't actually physically leave the hospital because they couldn't walk. And aside from that, they were really stressed. They didn't have the tickets. They just really didn't know how to move on. So I called them first thing, tried to understand where they were, tried to gather as much information on how they could actually possibly go to the airport, how many luggages they had, all of the details that I need to actually make it happen. And we speak a little bit. I started looking at flights and all of that. And once I booked the flights, I realized that I have pretty much just an hour and a half to actually organize an ambulance to go and pick them up and take them to the airport. And I was like, okay, I guess it's showtime then. And I gathered pretty much all of the good energy I could for myself and for the guys. And I started calling everybody, like making them understanding how urgent the situation was, and like, I need help now. You really need to give me an ambulance as quickly as possible. These people have been a terrible accident. They need to go home, yada, yada, yada. And I found, obviously, one of our amazing providers that was like, okay, give me 5 minutes and I'll call you back. Those 5 minutes were extremely long for me. It felt like a freaking eternity. And I'm there like, please, please give me an ambulance. Please, please give me an ambulance. And he calls me back and he's like, do you have the documents for these people? Yeah. Do you have their passports? Yes. All right, I might be able to even get you tarmac access. And I was like, wait, really? Yes, because obviously we cannot drop them off on a wheelchair just in the middle of the airport and expect them to walk up into the plane. So because they had already contacts with the security in the airport and they knew how to do all of the passages to get them to the tarmac, they just quickly contacted the handling agent and all of that, got them access to the tarmac, and they were doing this whilst on the way to the hospital. So I ended up with the provider. I was pretty much jumping on my feet because I was like, yes, we're making it. And I called back this guy, which for practical purposes, we're gonna call Chris. And I was like, hey, Chris, actually, I've got some really good news for you. I've managed to book your flight. It's in business class, so you have lots of leg room. I've managed to speak with the provider. They're gonna help you load onto the actual airplane. So it seems like you're actually going home, and in about 4 hours, you're gonna be with your family or whoever you wish to be. And he starts crying, actually. And he kept saying to me, just, thank you. I really don't know how to thank you. It's been horrible. And I was getting a little bit emotional because I could actually sense all of the stress that this guy has been through. And he was the one that was fine with broken ribs and arms. So he was taking care of his friend as well. And I was like, don't worry, we made it, but please stop crying because otherwise I'm gonna start crying as well. And I've got other people to help, so I cannot allow myself that. And I gave the last call whilst they were loading onto the airplane. Everything was smooth and they happily got home. All of that was organized in pretty much an hour and 45 minutes, which is not the easiest task, but we do what we have to do to get them good. I'm an operations supervisor in all assistance. Specifically, I take care of the Italian technical area. I do take care also of the medical area. So I help my colleagues to achieve the best results possible. I try to check that they're okay and that everything is going smooth with every single case that we get in our hands. So I like to put my nose a little bit in everywhere. You can see my face and I'm telling people like, I've seen you did that, well done. And they're like, how did you do it? I just look at everything because I like to make sure that everything runs fine in this company. My job in Elastistance, if I have to describe it in 3 words, would be relentless, humbling, and fulfilling.